Hello there, everybody. Welcome back, and Sailor's here.
Hello!
And we're here to be talking about the newest Disney Pixar film, Hoppers. A, which basically, before we dive into it, because this will be like a spoiler-filled video, why not have Sailor briefly describe what the plot is and stuff before we really dive into it?
Okay, so I really loved this movie. I'll say that off the bat. There is this girl, and ever since she was a little girl, she was obsessed with and loved animals. Okay, and so her grandma also really loves nature. That's something that she has a bonding moment with her grandma. And then after her grandma's gone, she has this connection to this big pond, and she wants to save that preserve. But there's this dude, he's the mayor of the city, and Jerry. And he wants to build a highway, he wants to build a bridge that cuts through her little nature preserve, and she's having none of that. So she figures out one of the professors at her university has the ability to put a human's brain into a robot that looks just like and can speak to the animals. So she goes into the animal world, breaks into that. It's not with her professor's permission, so she's on the run from them. She breaks into the animals world and she tells them, guys, they're trying to do this. Hijinks ensue. She tries to rally the troops, become a leader of the animals. They're going after Jerry. My two minors are environmental studies and political science, and they're at war with each other in the film. So it's such a good movie. It's such a good movie.
It's really great, and Sailor did a great job describing it, because what I really like about this film is not only is it another original film from Pixar, which they still do that, but
not as often.
Yeah, well, not only not as often, but they're mainly misses instead of hits, like how they used to be constantly putting out hit after hit, and they were constantly great. And there was a time for a while where we all love Cars, obviously hugely marketable, but that was considered the weaker entry compared to their other ones back in the day. But now it feels like more of a rarity to get a really truly great film where they have a solid message that they want to tell, and they have really fun characters, and that sense of rewatchability. Wanted to go back and see this film, because I have a feeling whether we go to see it again in the theaters or we want to watch it again on streaming, this is a film that I think me and my sister want to go back and rewatch.
Absolutely.
That's the thing too, is that the film has, for example, going in, it has pretty, great audience scores and, critics. And it has a great start financially with the box office, which again is also great to see, because these type of, original films, they're not really as successful as they used to be back in their heyday. It's all about the sequels and remakes, especially from Disney, which is a big proponent of that strategy. But so it's nice to see a film like this come out and do well.
Yeah, and one thing I really like about that is that cute, fuzzy animal characters have been a staple of classic Disney films since the start. And now they're actually addressing, what are the circumstances for real animals? We're not just enjoying them as fuzzy little characters, it's bringing us into the world that a wild animal lives in, seeing things from their perspective, not just, oh, it's a cute little cartoon, but actually this is a wild animal and this is their habitat and their home, and this is why it's important. It goes into, without being heavy-handed, it goes into different environmental things like noise pollution, overcrowding, overdevelopment of land, people being selfish about it. And something big in all of my ecology classes, environmental classes, it stressed that we are not separate from the ecosystem. We are members of the ecosystem, because we're also living creatures. And I think this job does a really good job from an environmentalist perspective, knowing what it is from those people in the field. It does that great, as well as being a fantastic movie. It's so funny. It's really unexpected. I really like how the animals' eyes go from little black eyes to
when humans are looking at them, and
yes.
then once you have either the earpiece in, or you have
you are an animal.
You are the animal. It kind of it puts you in that context, you're
yes.
one of the animals, and that was a nice little visual detail. And also, I will want to say that whenever the mayor dude, for example, I thought he was really good, all the other characters, because you're thinking he's gonna be kind of the stereotypical type villain, but they kind of add some layers to him. He's still the greedy I want to do this for for X, Y, and Z for like to make him look good because of people like, for example, traffic and
Yeah.
all. It'll cut back on traffic, but you have that scene that I thought was pretty funny where obviously he's self-centered and all with his house, but you see like he has like
taking care of
his
his
mom. His
mom.
mom's there, and he doesn't really
And he's
seem
a
like
happy person. He
doesn't-
knows his neighbors. They love him.
he doesn't seem like a bad
Yeah.
guy, but he just doesn't really care about
Yeah.
the nature and stuff. And there's
And I
some
think that there's a lot of people like that where it's like they don't hate animals or something, but they're supporting things that are bad for the environment or that use up a bunch of land or things like that. And it's like they're not bad people. They're just not thinking about it from the animal's perspective, and they don't understand how serious it is and how much land they're running out of.
And I also think, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but there are like a couple moments where it really feels like him and Mabel, like the main character, are kind of similar in terms
Yeah.
of being fully energetic with the things that they're passionate about. There's like a montage near the beginning where they're yelling at each other, and it's showing different moments of them doing that throughout. And, they're just, at odds. And I kind of like that dynamic. I thought it was kind of fun. And, those moments of the film are probably going to be underlooked compared to all the other stuff that the films talk about with the animal stuff. But I just wanted to shout out that moment,
Yeah,
too.
it was a little running gag. And they both are friends of the elderly.
Yeah, like he takes care of his mom, and
Mm-hmm.
she had a relationship with her grandma. So I really feel like that was potentially like a main thing that they wanted to show, that they're kind of like...
Foils.
Yeah, they're kind of like really similar to each other on different sides. And also, I really liked the main cast of the characters: the big bear, that other beaver, the lizard, which we've been seeing all the
Lizard.
memes of.
Lizard.
Exactly, we've been seeing all the memes of. I thought they all kind of had their own good roles, and even like when they introduced like this like kind of other groups, like these other kings.
Lizard.
These other kings and queens, like the
reptiles, the snakes are the queens.
Yeah, the fish, obviously the king George, I believe the name was, the beaver one.
The monarch butterfly.
Yeah, there was a lot of like really fun moments, and there's like this one moment where there's like this big like talking about it, and they're talking about we need a squish,
Squish!
which means
Squish!
And so there's a moment, like there's some dark like comedy type moments in the film where one of the squishings happens, and there's genuine moments where like it's hilarious and stuff. Like throughout the film, there's like some kind of like more mature comedy type moments
where you're shocked, and then you're like.
And me and my sister kind of looked at each other, and we were like laughing at when Mabel accidentally squished the bug,
the monarch.
Yeah, and then I guess the sun or whatever took over, and there's like the
pupa.
And just like, but by the time you get near the end of the film, there's this, I don't know, it's just it has such a rewatchability. Like there was not a bad moment. I felt like
I was never once bored.
Yeah, I mean, obviously...
And that's saying a lot. I get bored easy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, once the film... Like, once she puts on, like, the headset and becomes, like, the beaver and all that, the film, like, elevates, like, another level.
Kicks off.
But the first part, like, setting up, the world and the characters...
It's important to establish who she is and her motives. I mean, it's indispensable.
Yeah, and, like, the flashback, like, showing sequence of her young with her grandma, like, that stuff was pretty cool, and they kept referencing that. Like, moments where they kept showing it in, like, emotional scenes, her looking at the rock and that location. So, and by the end of the film, I think it was just a really fun film. It had a lot of great voice work performances from the cast, and obviously great animation, as Pixar always likes to do.
Lizard.
And fun moments like that. And so the film all around was just really great. All right, so those were my thoughts on Hoppers. Again, what do you all think of this film? And if you had a chance to see it, I highly recommend. We both do. Please let us know down below in the comment section. And if you want to hit the bell as well to subscribe when I upload, that would mean so much to me. And anything else you want to say, Sailor, before we check out?
Yeah, let him know how great I was and how the best videos have me in it. Also...
Yeah, right? Everything's about Sailor, so...
And so, giving it a 10 out of 10, there was not a moment of it that I didn't enjoy. So it's like... Most people are like, oh, it's got to be perfect to be a 10 out of 10. The whole time I'm thinking, is there any moment that I disliked? There wasn't. How often do you see a twist hero?
Which
Never.
is basically like the mayor kind of like redeems himself in a way where he, decides, we're not gonna go through with this. We'll do
Yes.
something else. And he was helping clean up at the end. And yeah,
that's a positive message for the environment. It shows that you can make a difference. You can change people's minds and teach them why they should care, and that real change can be made. Because that's an inspiring message. Instead of the villain just being greedy corporate guy, it's showing, you know, humans, we're all in this together with the animals. We're all in this together at the pond rules.
yes. And with that said, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.